put up the definition of dissociative identity disorder. And you, of course, know this because you've been dealing with it a long time, but it's a severe form of dissociation, and it's characterized by identity division, and that's rather than a creation of separate personalities. So individuals also experience recurrent, extensive episodes of memory loss that's not explained by just forgetfulness. So this is not to be confused with split personality or multiple personalities. What it is the individual identity. There's one identity, but it's fragmented into different parts. And what happens is, if you get in a situation where the stress is overwhelming your coping skills, then you will escape that situation by leaving that part of your identity and just going to another part of your identity. You vacate that awareness. You often see it if somebody's been in a terrible accident or something, they'll have no memory of it whatsoever. And you ask them about it, see, I know I was in an accident, but I don't remember it. And you might know that they saw a loved one killed or something, but they'll say, I don't remember it. They have that memory loss, and sometimes if that trauma is recurrent, this is too painful, this is too stressful, so I just vacate my consciousness and go somewhere else. And when that stops, then I'll come back.
After multiple tests, I was finally diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder. I began first having panic attacks because it was very scary, people calling me by different names.
I wanted to know if Jerica came with you.
Don't ask where she is. Seriously, don't wake her up.
Why did you come here?
She came here, like people looking at me. Don't.
Can you?
Stop.
So who's here now?
Don't say anything. I'm not allowed to talk. At one point since this started, I've had over 15 different jobs. I can't keep a job because different programs show up to the wrong ones and I have to hide them from my co-workers. I lost primary custody of my 5-year-old daughter a year and a half ago because of my disorder. Before I was diagnosed, I had lots of blackouts and memory problems. I woke up in other states like Oklahoma, California, but in Colorado, I don't remember any of it. My family is very religious and has tried to perform multiple exorcisms on me a couple of weeks ago. They think I'm possessed. Each program has a specific task or role that it plays in my life. They run as a system working together. I have more than 10 programs running within this system. I don't feel like my life is one whole person. It's a system of pieces.
Do you remember writing into the Dr. Phil show?
We think the French scientist wrote into Dr. Phil.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Jerica, je suis de Dallas. Comment allez-vous?
I don't even speak French. Jane's the most popular. She's really social. Jane went out to dinner with her family members. Jane started dancing on tables and got kicked out. Cleo is another program. She's from the Egyptian time period 1,000 years ago. Christina is very religious. She wears cardigans and dresses very conservatively. There's also an infant. We don't know much about the infant. We just hear it crying in the background. He can't get out of bed or feed himself. He almost starved to death. There's also a child program. There are also some that are not human. There's an angel, and then there's one we call vampire. It's a protector program. The vampire has sharp teeth. The eye watches over the system, and it puts like everybody in their place. Eye is like the firewall, and it keeps programs from going where they're not supposed to go. My goal is to get well enough to be independent so that I can be a mother to my daughter. This disorder has jeopardized every relationship or ruined it. Everyone runs away from me. People are scared of me.
Okay, let me just go on record as saying you're not demonic.
Thank you.
Just my opinion. I mean, what do I know? But you're not demonic. What would you say is the single worst trauma in your life?
The worst trauma. Right now, it's not being. I can't talk about that trauma. We are going to talk about.
Who's talking to me?
Fine.
I'm sorry?
What was the question? Sorry.
You know the question.
What question?
You know the question I asked you.
What was the question, though?
I asked you a question.
Yes.
What was the question I asked you?
To remember, we're fine. We're fine.
Yeah. What is your name?
Fine. I'm fine. Fine.
I'm Dr. Phil. What is your name?
Jerica.
Sorry?
Jerica.
Okay. What is the answer to my question, Jerica?
What? Don't. We can't.
If I'm talking to Jerica, then you know I asked you a question just a few minutes ago to tell me something about your life. What did I ask you? You don't even have to answer it. I just want to know what the question was.
What hurts?
So what was the most painful time, the most traumatic time in your life? Most traumatic event?
Most traumatic? I don't know.
If you want me to help you, and if all of these programs are here to support you and help you, then they will come together and give you the strength to answer this question, because it is pivotal in my being able to start leading you towards reintegration and health.
We can't talk about it.
Who am I talking to right now?
The administrator.
Okay, so that would be Jerica.
Well, it's Jerica, but it's the Jerica that we send to work or professional situations or jobs.
Okay, like realtor?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the, and tell me what the administrator does within the system.
The administrator organizes which programs are able to come through.
When you make a shift and a program takes over, what's the trigger for that?
It depends. If it's like a situation where I'm in danger, that can trigger like one of the protector programs to come. If it's a situation where like it's something that program likes or music that program likes, it makes the program come out.
Which program wrote into the show?
We aren't really sure. We think there's one of the programs that we believe is a scientist based on the like work we've been finding from that one. We believe she might have wrote into the show.
Okay, and who is we?
The system.
Why do you think that you have dissociative identity disorder? Why do you think this is something that you need?
I've been dealing with this disorder for over 13 years and been in treatment, and it's before they didn't know what was going on and why I had memory problems. It wasn't until like the help of my school and my last treatment that they diagnosed me with dissociative identity disorder.
And one of the things that tipped off someone at school is you had an assignment to go interview someone, and you turned the assignment in, but you had interviewed yourself.
Yes, I had interviewed myself for it and I didn't realize it.
These programs to the administrator, they communicate with you directly, right? With the administrator?
Sometimes the administrator is pretty much just looking over the programs, kind of like a manager. We've developed a way for the programs to talk to each other. They'll leave each other notes, and sometimes they'll get in arguments with each other.
And when you hear these conversations, do you hear them from the outside like you're hearing me now, or do you hear them inside your head?
It's kind of like having multiple people sitting inside your head and arguing over what you're doing.